Welcome back to Amerisogyny. I'm your host, Hannah Blue. This is episode 11. What's wrong with being you? How to deprogram yourself from social media. I'm excited about this episode. I get excited about all of them, but when I really feel passionate and I have something to share, it's a good feeling. I hate a lot of things about social media, but if there's one thing I really hate, it's this. If you don't glorify what the world glorifies, then something is wrong with you. This world will rip you apart if you let it. It will rip the mind right out of your skull. It refuses to let you accept there is nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with how you were created. You don't have to fit in with this group or take up that group's cause. You are unique and beautiful and relevant just the way you are. Fast life leads to a quicker death. Death of your identity and death of your soul. This episode is about taking off the rose-colored glasses social media depends on. As long as you believe these fantasy lives are better than yours, these companies make money while you stay poor. Everything valuable that was already given to you at birth, happiness, spirituality, your gifts remain in intellectual poverty. As long as you believe there are people who are better, prettier, smarter, or richer, you'll never maximize your own potential. You'll go crazy chasing imaginary realities people have sold their souls for. The solution to that? Create your own world, one where you can thrive in and be whole and happy. Jim Valvano was a coach at NC State. In 1993, he gave a speech that I want to share with you. It still resonates with people to this day. He said, "Don't give up. Don't ever give up." And that's what I'm going to try to do every minute that I have left. To me, there are 3 things everyone should do every day. Number 1 is laugh. Number 2 is think. Spend some time in thought. Number 3, you should have your emotions move you to tears. If you laugh, think, and cry, that's a heck of a day. He finished with, "Cancer can take away all of my physical abilities. It cannot touch my mind, it cannot touch my heart, and it cannot touch my soul. And those 3 things are going to carry on forever. I thank you, and God bless you all." He passed at only 47 years old. Words are eternal. People are moved by the words you say. I'm not cut out for social media because I say things that go against the grain, and I'm fine with that. What I'm not fine with is compromising who I am. And let me tell you what the world is telling you. In order to be liked and loved, be an Instagram model. Take your clothes off. Have thousands and millions of followers, and everyone will love you. The algorithms in this country, the U.S., don't promote staying in school, but China does. The king of TikTok. I guarantee you what we see on TikTok in the States versus what Chinese children living in China see are very different algorithms. Their algorithms promote Chinese excellence. They're not promoting working in somebody's strip club. They're not. China promotes education, math, and science. China will never sit and tell Americans, you don't have to work in a strip club to be special. Now let me say, if that's what folks do or did, more power to them. No judgment here. Sometimes people don't have an option. They're in domestic violence situations. They come from broken homes or extreme poverty. So they do what they have to do. I understand that. If that's your situation, so be it. But it's not everybody's. I have a problem with social media trying to brainwash people into thinking their lives are so terrible, they have to make the same choices other people did when they don't. My other issue is, and I have research to back my claim, there are teen girls out there who are depressed. That means social media isn't working for them. It's adding to depression. It's causing depression. When you look at someone who appears to be perfect and you don't feel you are, that's traumatizing. And here's the lie. They're not perfect. Those video filters are. That's what's being glorified right now. Video filters that make you look fabulous. What's wrong with how you look right now without them? Whatever the world agrees with, I don't. To be a friend of the world is to be an enemy of God's, and I'm not trying to be his enemy. I need him in my life. What I'm saying to you, there is something inside of you that is creative. You have the power to create whatever garden you choose. That's not a cliche. I'm not selling you anything you don't already have inside of you. I talk about growing gardens a lot, growing beautiful things. You never hear people talk about growing weeds. Weeds grow, but they produce nothing. Social media has toxic sites with a lot of followers, but they're not growing anything except disrespect and judgment watered with no compassion. The plant food, insults, and ridicule. No wonder girls are depressed. What creativity can thrive watching all of that? These lives that look so glamorous on social media, they're not. People with everything are living with nothing behind closed doors. They're living with cheaters, living with abusers. Some influencers are the abusers. Some influencers compromise themselves for money from strangers who don't give a damn about them, just to eat and pay their bills while you sit and watch. Understand social media sites exist to make money. They profit off of your insecurity, low self-esteem, your need to be liked and accepted. These are money shots aimed right for you. I'm going to give you stories today about people who are on social media, liars, abusers, and thieves, and some who aren't on social media anymore because they're no longer with us. Their lives were taken by cruelty, and they got caught up in the game and lost. These stories aren't pretty and won't make you feel good. But since this podcast is about your mental health, I'm also going to give you ways out, different roads to take so you don't have the same fate. And hopefully that will make you feel good. Because when someone speaks life into you, it's a beautiful thing. Much better than watching videos that speak death into you. And what do I mean by that? You ever watched a video and said, why can't I do that? I wish I was that person. You're saying the person you're watching is better than you, has a better life, and you'd be so much happier if you had what they had. When all the while you're seeing an edited, scripted, carbon copy of reality, and that is speaking death into yourself. So let's get into it. Our first story is about Brittany Dawn Davis. Disclaimer: everything I say is based on my personal opinion, and I have cited resources posted in my description for your review. She has 30 plus years on this planet, and somewhere along the lines, according to some folks, she crafted the art of lying. Her brand, Brittany Dawn Fitness, attracted people with eating disorders. She has accounts on Instagram and TikTok at Real Brittany Dawn. Here's the scam. In 2014, she sold online health and fitness plans. And you know, dreams of being skinny is manna from heaven to some folks, so they bought them. Now, there's nothing wrong with coaching, but you have to deliver. According to the suit, she didn't give the individualized plans and coaching she promised. She gave herself the title of an eating disorder soldier and sold herself as a health and fitness expert. If people turn on their cameras and start talking with a straight face, some people will believe anything they say. That's why social media is predatory. There's a girl on social media right now I feel is lying, saying she lost almost 120 pounds in less than 10 months just by diet and exercise. One thing she's not mentioning, she had gastric bypass surgery, and that was confirmed when someone outright asked the question about surgery. And I noticed she answered other people, but not this person. It's okay to lose weight and get on social media and tell everybody, but make sure you're telling them the whole story. This is how people begin thinking something is wrong with them. People aren't being transparent. That's how they start speaking death into themselves when they see these lies and say, why can't I do that? According to the lawsuit, Davis denies she even had 14 clients who launched complaints against her. But here's a receipt. One person posted, "I truly need guidance, help, the right information and support right now. Currently have an eating disorder, horrible body image views, am underweight for my height." The lawsuit states she didn't coach anyone. She gave people generic feedback like, "That's my girl, you're killing it," and "You've got this, babe." Now that would have been my first clue right there, but when you're dealing with people who are desperate to find answers and fix their situation, those are the most vulnerable targets. People got fed up and launched Brittany Dawn fitness business complaints on Facebook in 2018. Now, mind you, she started in 2014, so that was 4 years of the money rolling in. She didn't apologize until February 2019. Then she deleted the video. She said, "I am sincerely sorry for any harm I may have caused anyone." She even got on TV. Good Morning America. And she said she'd taken full responsibility for her mistake and she did whatever it took to make things right. So how much did her mistake make? According to court documents from February 2023, the defense is being shady by turning over just 11% of customer payments. And the PayPal account for her fitness website, bdawnfit.com, earned nearly $1.5 million since it started. Now that's a far cry over the $169,736 her defense claims she got. The Attorney General wants her to pay penalties and court fees between $250,000 to $1 million. Not to be dismayed, she turned to Jesus and began selling him. Now God is very profitable for some folks, and they've been doing it since before his day. That's why he flipped those money tables. They were selling him just like she's doing right now. In 2019, she got off social media just long enough to flush the fitness content like a turd and emerged as a Christianity influencer. On YouTube, she said, "Fitness and health are no longer my identity. My identity is in Christ. You guys know that I went into a season of hiding when everything happened. I heard God say, stop trying to hide what I'm using." Yeah, I guess she's Moses now. Listen, she's smart, but not so smart. Now she's targeting people who love God and believe in forgiveness. But everybody isn't fooled. A follower, Shanna Samuel, said Davis seems to be using her newfound faith as a weapon to escape culpability because she hasn't directly addressed her past wrongs publicly since 2019. Davis lost hundreds of thousands of followers and subscribers, from 573,000 to 420,000. Now she's at 472,000. She runs a ministry called She Lives Free. Well, hallelujah. Let me tell you something. She's learned from others in the past who also tried to pimp God's people. She knows what to say and how to say it, and people buy it. About the lawsuit, she said, "That's not who I am anymore. You cannot cancel what God has called." You can't, but I don't think she's been called by God. Not at all. Here's what's disturbing about her. Her husband, Jordan Nelson, is a former cop who was sued by the ACLU in 2018 for excessive use of force against a black man. Well, we know he doesn't celebrate Black History Month, don't we? In 2021, Davis posted a video saying Nelson shot and killed her dog, Brody, instead of taking him to the vet after he was hit by a car. He's cruel to animals. How shocking. One thing is for sure, people hate this woman. She allegedly raised $25,000 on GoFundMe. It's since been deleted, to send a guy named James with a drug habit to rehab, but allegedly took some of the money. In January of 2023 on YouTube, she loves that YouTube, she denied it, saying it was a fictitious witch hunt. Now, some people are concerned she's a foster parent. She threatened to sue people for sharing libelous comments, posts, and videos about her and complained she's been cyberbullied. and there is footage of her reacting to bullying regarding infertility. On TikTok, she posted, "God said she can ignore all the hateful things people post about her." Some of the comments read, "You're just a terrible person, period." Another, "God is not letting you be a mother because he knows you will be a terrible mom. Infertility is God's way." Now this person right here, these are the people I can't get with. She may be a terrible person. She may be. I don't know her. What I've read about her, I don't like her or her husband. But when you go for the jugular like that, nuh-uh. If a woman wants to reproduce and can't, that's already an open wound. You don't need to piss in it. That's exactly what I mean when I say these weeds, these people that sprout up on social media to choke others out. That's a prime example. Had I come across her page, I would have just scrolled. That's just me. Let her be tried in court. If she's found guilty, then she'll pay for her crimes. Unfortunately, social media gives a platform to be people's judge and jury, and I'm just not down with that. Don't be so pulled in by social media life that you give up on your own life and start comparing yourself to others. It leads to depression. It leads to suicide. It leads to people believing they have to live the lives other people do just to be relevant and happy. And that's not true. My next story is about Instagram model Tyger Booty, born as Julie Diane Williams. She was found dead in a hotel room after flying out to Ghana. She had almost 600,000 followers. This is the lure of social media. So glamorous to young girls. But they don't realize the danger, the darkness behind all of that flash. She was a native of Atlanta, Georgia, and she took lavish trips to Dubai and elsewhere. People saw her videos on social media. Her last trip was in Ghana, but she never returned. She was flown in by a man who had long money. He owned a hotel, restaurants, and nightclubs in Nigeria and Ghana. According to Ghana Web, she went to give pleasure to the big men at the parties she was billed to attend during the holiday season. Now, as adults, we know what this means. But to young girls, this is glamorous. And you know how some folks are. Social media gives them a gateway to judge, and they judged her for leaving her small daughter behind to chase a bag. I don't feel anyone deserves to die. It doesn't matter to me what the reason is. According to Ghana police, she died on December 14th, 11 days after she arrived. Williams' family allegedly wanted her autopsy to be done in the U.S. out of fear of corrupt Ghanaian officials. A family spokesperson said, "We don't trust Ghana health authorities will do a good job, so we want the autopsy done in the United States." Unfortunately, none of us is from there, Ghana, and we're not sure what will happen. He's been arraigned by Ghana police for her death. The trial is pending the details of her autopsy. There's no country on this planet where women are respected and protected. This is why it's important not to get caught up in social media. Everything looks so good on the surface, but behind closed doors, it's a different story. Being an Instagram influencer or model doesn't protect women from violence. People have the right to make choices for themselves, but every choice we make has consequences. Remember when I told you young girls are depressed? A study was done to track the rates of depression. In 2021, 17,000 high school teens in the U.S. received the Youth Risk Behavior Survey. It's conducted every 2 years, and Dr. Ethier noted mental health issues have risen since 2011. According to Dr. Corey Green, there was a mental health crisis before the pandemic. It just didn't catch everyone's attention the way it does now. Although the survey results reported lower rates of drug use and bullying at school and less sex with fewer sexual partners compared with previous years, Dr. Green's patients test positive on screenings for depression. She says the pandemic led to more social isolation, a risk factor for depression. A decrease in teen well-being coincided with the rise of smartphones. Now, the full impact of technology on teen mental health is still unknown, but There's no question of an association between the use of social media and the dramatic increase in suicidal behavior and depressive mood. Kids are now vulnerable to cyberbullying and critical comments like, "I hate you," "Nobody likes you." It's like harpoons to their heart every time. I discuss suicide and cyberbullying in episodes 6 and 7. Cyberbullying is a critical issue. According to the CDC, boys are less cyberbullied than girls. 1 in 5 girls are cyberbullied, and that's almost double the 11% of boys. We don't have enough therapists to care for all these kids. According to the CDC report, teen mental health can be improved with healthy relationships at school. Dr. Ethier feels school connectedness is a very powerful protective factor. Middle and high school connections result in less incidents of people being criminals or victims of violence, drug abuse, and suicide, and better mental health 20 years later. Now that's profound. Smartphones, I believe, were released in 2007. The reality shows I remember were The Real World and Road Rules. No Love and Hip Hop, no Basketball Wives, Football Wives, no Real Housewives of Anywhere. And speaking of that, let's get into some TV shows. Remember I told you people with everything are living with nothing behind closed doors? Drew Sidora, Real Housewives of Atlanta, is getting a divorce and has accused her husband Ralph of being a serial cheater and adulterer who has financially and mentally harassed her and was physically abusive to her. Now, they didn't have the perfect marriage on the show, clearly, and Drew says she's tired of his disrespect and mental abuse. She also claims he flaunted his affairs in her face. She says he forced her to give him her cell phone, causing her to fall to the ground, and violently took it from her. And she's accusing him of financial abuse. She says he controls her business and personal finances along with her business operations. Drew claims she's the breadwinner, but he used at least 50% or more of all income to settle household expenses. Now, I remember a story where a personal chef says she wasn't paid for the meals she cooked. Interesting. My last story is about a reality TV star who was sent to jail for almost 2 years for posting a sex tape of him and his ex-girlfriend on OnlyFans. That's called revenge porn. He is Stephen Bear, and he filmed her in 2020 without her knowledge or consent. What a prince. He was on reality TV shows Shipwrecked, X on the Beach, and won Celebrity Big Brother in the UK in 2016. He was found guilty on 2 counts of voyeurism and disclosing private sexual photographs and films to cause distress. His ex is also a former reality TV star. OnlyFans deactivated his account 1 day after she reported the video. She was granted a 5-year restraining order against him, and Bear was placed on the sex offender registry, as he should be. This is a reality TV star, but it didn't save her from harm. Everything that glitters isn't gold. Nothing will protect you from misogyny. That's a fact. But the point of this episode is to show you have gifts inside of you where you don't have to look to social media or reality TV that isn't really reality to be happy. While you're watching these people, don't forget you can draw and write, edit, sing, dribble a ball. You can get up and speak to people and they listen. And guess what? All of these gifts are free. You were born with gifts. The pandemic ended so many things for us, but it also offered new beginnings. I launched my company, 21 Blue Lash. I found my creative side again, writing, speaking. These are things I'm good at. Making people smile, encouragement. I'm good at that too. Here's the truth. I never saw myself doing a podcast. My friend had been talking to me about it for a year. When I was on TikTok, people asked if I had one, and I said no. I never thought this was for me, but it is. Now, I was mad as hell at my content being suppressed because I created non-toxic spaces where I was reaching people. You know, we read that on Glue, non-toxic, and we get happy because we think we're doing something. buying something safe. Yet we're glued to social media, which is toxic. I thank them now. I thank people on TikTok for suppressing my views, because here I am talking to you, telling you you are more than okay just the way you are. You don't need to be famous or perform in front of crowds of people to be relevant. You don't need a BBL or a hit TV show or millions of followers. You don't need that. Entrepreneurship is hard, but I'll tell you what's harder. Working myself to the bone for an employer, barely making ends meet. I don't miss that at all. Launching this podcast is hard, but you know what? I love every minute of it. I love the writing, editing, looking for topics to share, sharing what I know, getting feedback, encouraging others. It's hard work that I enjoy, and I want you to find that too. Joy you can't get from other people. Find your creative side. There are so many people out there who do not have your talents, and they'll pay you for them. If you're still in school, take up sports or start an art class. For at home, start writing blogs or create a social Zoom group. Chat with people just like you from all over the globe. Zoom has opened so many doors. And if someone is toxic in your group, kick them out. It's yours. You can do whatever you want to do. Instead of posting on social media when you're upset, get a journal. Write down all of your thoughts. And don't forget to advertise your talent. Fiverr has plenty of opportunity for freelancers. Publish that book you have lying around the house or start a business. The time is now. We don't know how many minutes we have left. All of us have invisible time clocks over our heads. And when it's time to punch out for the last time, we don't get a say-so. Every minute you look at others and compare yourselves to them is a wasted minute. You don't know how these people are living. You don't know what they do behind closed doors. And it doesn't matter. Start focusing on your life, not fake ones on social media. And I'm out of time. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I will be back with more stories. Be easy. Have a great weekend. And God bless.